$840 million. What would you do with an extra $840 million? Many Americans over the past few days, and even more in the coming days, have been in a frenzy for $900 million, $1.6 billion in lottery tickets. And that alone has caused a crazy frenzy. The windfall, the impact that would have on someone's personal life. So what does $840 million equate to? $840 million covers 95% of the annual military spending that the United States spends on a fiscal year. Let that sink in. But what really is $840 million? So $840 million is actually the amount of tax, license, and fee revenue that the state of Colorado has collected since legalizing recreational marijuana in just 4 short years, since 2014. What I want to talk to you about today is how legalizing marijuana within the United States, we could feel the immense benefits like that of the state of Colorado just 50-fold. Today, I want to dispel for you the fallacies about legalizing marijuana. Today, I want to talk to you about how the legalization of weed would bolster our economy. Today, we'll talk about how it would remedy a failed justice system. And today, we will imagine how the legalization of marijuana will fund limitless initiatives that majority of the Americans believe in, like education and healthcare for all. Legalization of marijuana in its simplest forms would embolden our national budget and will make a huge dent in our national debt. One source, according to the ICF study of California alone, it's estimated that an additional 81,000 direct and indirect induced jobs were a result of marijuana sales. And it projects that an increase in total labor income of at least $3.5 billion to the United States. So that is just the state of California. How else would that affect the United States? At a federal level, it's estimated that the legalization of marijuana would result in an additional $105.6 billion between 2017 and 2025. So obviously this study is a little dated, but it's focusing on that particular period. And according to this same report from cannabis analytics firm New Frontier, the study further goes on to say that fully legalizing cannabis today would add an additional 654,000 jobs and up to 1 million jobs by 2025. Just think about the way the U.S. economy would be impacted with additional revenues flowing into our states and additional funds coming in to fund our budgetary needs and potentially making a dent in our deficit. But more than that, when we think about legalization of marijuana, we have another major effect, and that is the unbalanced and unfair justice system that favors incarcerating African Americans and blacks. And so just to give you a couple startling statistics, first of all, I want to set the premise here that I think everyone can agree with. Marijuana users are widely considered nonviolent offenders. And so keep this in mind as I go through the next couple statistics. One study found that arrests in the year 2010 alone, so this is actually done by the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, found that blacks have been nearly 4 times more likely than whites to be arrested for marijuana possession. And then the ACLU continued this particular study to indicate that in certain communities, like Iowa, DC, Illinois, and Minnesota, it was somewhere between 7.5 and 8.5 more times likely to be arrested than whites. The ACLU continues further into their study, and one integral part that they point out, which I thought was interesting, is that while the arrests are disproportionately different between whites and blacks, the usage across the board is the same. And so what kind of effects does this have on our criminal justice system? Well, it's linked that states spend $3.6 trillion enforcing marijuana laws each year. I want you to think about that. That is our national debt. $3.6 trillion. So it's great to think about the additional funds that we would get from different states legalizing marijuana and from the United States at the federal level legalizing it, and then also to think about how criminal justice reform would really impact the United States and really make this unfair system more fair for blacks and African Americans. But finally, I think the biggest point to drive this home is thinking about all the different ways in which we could use the additional $3.6 trillion that the states aren't spending on legalizing and enforcing marijuana laws. And also the additional $105.6 billion that's expected to be gained by the United States in the years of, so let's make it recent, right? In the years between 2018 and 2025. And just think about all the benefits that our economy could reap from these. It's part of typical political discourse nowadays to talk about free public college and to talk about healthcare for all and to talk about raising the minimum wage for our teachers and focusing back on education. How could all of this extra income help our economy? So in the next few days, one lucky American will have the ability to be changed forever. They're going to win $1.6 billion. And their life will be changed forever. And he or she will wake up to find out that their $2 lottery ticket bought at a corner store down the road is now worth $1.6 billion. When will the United States wake up? When will the United States legalize marijuana at the federal level and take steps to reap the benefits related to it? When will we cash in our lottery ticket, so to speak? When will the United States take the steps to stop incarcerating African Americans and blacks at unprecedented levels for nonviolent crimes? And reap the benefits of an additional $3.6 trillion by spending our resources elsewhere besides incarceration and enforcing of marijuana laws? And when will the United States realize the potential benefit of the legalization of marijuana when it comes to education and healthcare? I say that the time to do that is now. Thank you.